a different tray, I guess. Cam, you bring out that picture. What did this year mean to you? What does that picture mean to you?
Man, that was my best friend. He never missed the game, and when he couldn't come to the game in person, he would always send me emotional videos and just his expectations and all. And today being senior night, it kind of hit me a little harder knowing that he wasn't there to walk with me. But I got this to remind me, and I watched a couple videos before the game to get me going. But that's my dog, man, and I promised him before he checked out of here that I was going to take him and take his legacy wherever I do and wherever I go, that when you think of me, you're going to think of my dad. So,
understandably, a frustrating year. You guys were so close. And I know you haven't had a lot of time to decompress, but how challenging was it to go through these 12 games?
Man, it was very hard. It was a difficult year, especially with sudden change in the middle of the season. But, man, not even about the outcome. I'm just proud of my teammates, and I'm proud of how we stayed together, and no one started pointing fingers and no one started throwing tantrums. We just all came together. Maybe the score never was what we wanted to be, but I know we gained a lot of brothers for a lifetime, and guys that we can depend on, after football, because it's not even always about football. It's more than football.
For each of you, what were the thoughts pregame as you got 30 of you guys all together, lined up?
We had a large senior class. We had a lot of guys, a lot of leaders on this team. Our main thing, especially with the change that happened in the middle of the season, was to keep guys together. And I feel like, we did the best we could, and that we did accomplish, So, yeah.
Yeah, man, it was really sad. We had all of them out there, and just all the stuff we went through in our senior year and how much adversity we fought through. And like Cam said, man, we stuck together through it all, and that's very rare, and forever going to be grateful for this team, even though our record, hasn't really shown up the way we wanted it to. I'm grateful for all those men that went out there and fought and stuck together.
Few Missouri players close to 100 yards rushing. What was it like kind of going up against this attack?
We knew going into the game they was going to try to run the ball even more. We made some adjustments, but the adjustments wasn't enough. We made adjustments, they made adjustments, and, they was just really trying to put a heavy emphasis on the run. I think the guy had like 25 yards passing, so, man,
Is it more of a challenge to go up against maybe three different runners in case, they can bring something different to the table?
I would say, it is a little bit more difficult. You have to play true to all 11 players on the field. We knew going into the game they had the nation's leading rusher, and, we had a great game plan for him. And then, 2 years ago when we played Missouri against Brady Cook, he started running a little more than we expected, and I could see today they tried to do a little bit more with the quarterback. He was a good runner, especially coming back from the injury he had. So,
Fernando, just your thoughts on how both of your quarterbacks played.
Man, they played awesome, especially for, it being TG senior night and him, not flinching even though he didn't start, and just going out there and just being the leader he always is, and then KJ going out there and making the plays that he did. They both did amazing, and I'm just really proud of both of them, just their growth that they've made throughout this year, and man, they got really bright futures ahead of them. TG, got the next level coming up for him, so I'm super excited just to see what he could do at the next level, because he's an awesome leader, even better friend. And then KJ is young and energetic, and he has a lot of life that he's gonna give to football. And I'm excited to just see both their journeys, because they're great quarterbacks, and I'm blessed to be able to protect for them.
You're both guys that are looking to play at the next level, so maybe Cam, you first, and then Fernando. What do you feel like this year taught you that you can kind of apply going forward in football?
I would say control what you can control. It was out of our control that we lost our head coach and we lost our, defensive staff, and we also didn't get the wins that we wanted to get. So, just after football, you're not going to win in life. You're going to have ups and downs. This has been a very difficult, year for us, and it's been a heck of a year for me, with all the things I got going on. But what this season and everything has taught me is just perseverance. I'm going to have another hardship, whether it be next year, the year later, 10 years. What am I going to tell my kids? What am I going to tell my friends around me, my teammates years from now? So just persevere.
Yeah, same thing, man. Life is going to bring you down, and you're just going to have to continue to fight. And I think the biggest thing I learned this year is, win or lose, you got to be the same person showing up Monday to work. And you just got to be able to flip that switch and, just go to work, and regardless of the circumstances, even if we lose our coach or if we're on a 5-game losing streak, none of that matters. You got to still show up to work. And so, this season sucked, but I've learned a lot of valuable life lessons that will carry on for, a lifetime.
So how did you feel like Coach Petrino kind of just on the whole through these last, 9 weeks that he's been leading the program, how did you feel like he kind of handled everything with, kind of trying to keep you guys together and motivate you guys even as losses were piling up?
Yeah, he did an amazing job. He came into a very difficult circumstance, and he did the most that he could do. And so just the way he went out there and, fought for us week in and week out, and he just taught us a lot of life lessons. That's what I'm forever grateful for. He just taught us a lot of life lessons, even though things weren't going our way. He told us that there's more to football, and, we got to be better men and grow ourselves outside of football. And so I'm forever grateful for that for Coach Petrino.
I guess, Cam, you mentioned that you had a lot of things going on. When you think back to making the decision to come back for this year, where have you kind of seen the most growth from then to now?
Just being a better leader. I was in the leadership role last year, not necessarily having a C on my chest, but I have emotions, I have feelings too, and I know my teammates have those as well. But being a leader, it's a lot. Being a captain, it's even more. You got to put your feelings and emotions aside because you have to be the role model and be the influence and put a smile on your face every day going to work for the other guys. Because believe it or not, man, teammates, they look up to you. And I learned that more this year on how I handled everything, just knowing that the way I handle certain things, my teammate's going to look at me and be like, oh, if Cam thinks it's cool, then it's cool. So just being a more mature leader.
I guess for both of you guys, just being seniors, moving on, just I guess what has your time in the program meant to you guys? And then looking forward when you guys are watching the program as alumni, I guess just what are you most looking forward to for that?
For me, being here 5 years, man, through the thick and thin, before NIL, it's been one hell of a ride, man. And I'm grateful to be here that long. I'm grateful to come back last year. Even though the season didn't go how we wanted to do, I don't regret my decision. Lifetime friends forever. The fans here, man, especially, let me just say this for the record. For the fans to come out in that weather, especially for the season that we've had, that's how man. This whole state of Arkansas, they just came together, and it was it was so surreal to just see how many people actually came out and to support us through it all, and us not winning games, and just it gives me tingling inside, man, just to see how much love that we have to be football players here. So, man, this state, this university, it means the world to me.
Yeah. This university, this football team has changed my life, even though I've been here for 2 years. It's been the best 2 years of my life, man. I've grown so much as a man and just found out so much about myself that I never knew. And everybody in this state really rallied behind me. I've really felt that and rallied behind this team, even though things weren't going our way. And I'm forever grateful for all the Arkansas fans and people that came out. Like Cam said, man, it was nasty weather today. And, we're 2-9 and we're not playing good ball, but people still showed up and people showed love, and I'm forever grateful because, there's some fan bases where people won't show up, and, that just shows how special this place can be, and I'm forever grateful to be a Hog, and hopefully later on if there's other people that need help and I could help these Hogs, I'll do that, and so forever grateful to be a Hog.
Perfect way to end it, boys.